I just got the notification.
We are live. There we go. So welcome, folks. We got Mark here from the US. Not whereabouts are you at the moment? Did you say?
I'm in Pennsylvania right now. Normally from New Jersey, but
cool. Welcome back here. We've had him on probably about a year ago, which was cool.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. We've got Steve, who is new to the live streams. He's welcome back, man. Thanks for joining in.
This is my first time. Please be gentle.
Yeah, we got the email just went out about 10 minutes ago. So hang in there. Or check your email if you're on the list. You should get it, and more people will hopefully join over the course of the full live stream, which I guess will be an hour or two. And there's even if you just want to pop in and out, you don't have to stay for the whole thing. Obviously, if you want to join the actual stream itself with webcam. If you do, just send me an email at INTHEBLUES@outlook.com. I'll add you to the list, and if you're ever free, you're welcome to join. All right, cool. So we've got some people here from, we've got Number Tech from West Texas. Talon Floyd, welcome, man. Talon Floyd won pedal, I think, recently from one of the giveaways. Will you be answering questions on this feed today? Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it, and if there's something that you have a question about, feel free to ask. Not a problem. If I miss it, just send an @ symbol, like one of those @ symbols at In the Blues, and I'll hopefully see it that second time. So I don't ignore them. I just can't moderate the videos, the audio, and also the chat 100% of the time. So just feel free to let me know. We got Christopher from Canada. We got Nick from the cornfields of Iowa. That's cool. All right. Got
hey, and another character just popped in.
Hey, here we go. Oh, hang on a second. What's this above your head, man?
What's what above my head?
That ceiling.
The ceiling?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're
Usually
inside.
we see the sky.
I'm inside.
How are you
all doing? I'm good.
Yeah, good. Thanks. Good.
John, how come you're not at work?
Man, it's really good. I'm not at work. The family's in Melbourne, so it's quiet. I've turned the work phone off, so I'm not going to get interrupted this time. I based my week around these 2 hours, so that's how much of a life I have.
That's how much we think of Shane. We take this time and we set it aside special, so we can hang out with him.
Yeah,
man. I'm telling you, talk about friends.
That's it. No, it's always good having you guys join. It's always good having regulars join too. I reckon that's pretty cool. So it keeps me.
Eat your fiber, kiddies.
Chatting to myself for the next 2 hours.
We've seen enough of those videos.
Hey,
I said we've seen enough of those videos.
Yeah, absolutely. No, makes sense. Well, we've got a lot of people here already. This is cool. So we will be taking some questions. If anyone has anything direct, anyone who's on here, feel free to ask. And we don't really plan these things out. What we do, we just go for it.
There's Landon.
Hope for the best.
Hey,
so feel free.
Morning.
Hey.
Or good evening, I mean. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, guys.
You're doing perfectly then.
Good somewhere. Something somewhere. Yeah. Probably going to be on for about 20 minutes and then maybe back on and off a little bit after. So.
Yeah, no worries, man. Cool.
I've been catching some of your videos lately, Landon.
So 1 sec here. I got to put on my headphones. Say that again?
I've been catching some of your videos lately. Good work.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's coming along. It takes a while to figure out what you want to do and how to do them. So I think it's coming along pretty good now.
Cool. I'm digging them.
Cool. So I just got a message in the chat saying some people didn't receive the email. So what happened was I had 2 separate lists, and now that I've gone over to Mac, I may have actually lost some of my old lists, but I thought I copied everybody across. So just shoot me an email. I'll add you to the next, or re-add you back to the live stream itself, the email list. And you can shoot me an email at intheblues@outlook.com if you want to be a part of it. So nice and easy.
Sure, blame it on the Mac.
Nah, well, I had a list in a Microsoft Word thing, and that was before I was using the cloud, and then I think I just got confused which list was what. So now it's not going to go anywhere. It should be fine. So apologies to I can't remember who wrote the message. I saw it before, but Isaac, yeah, which is weird because like no one's been deleted off the list. So yeah, I must have just got lost in the translation of moving the list across at some point. So
Shane, go back to your previous settings because now you're starting to pixelate a little bit again and stutter.
Oh, that's going to make things worse if I change it.
Okay, well, whatever.
You're looking a bit fuzzy to me, but there's no stuttering or anything. So
yeah, I don't know. Look, if I run it at full HD, it'll glitch more just because of my internet speed. But that's all right. If it gets bad, I'll give it a go. But it looks like it's working okay. But I don't know.
It's doable. Yeah, no, it's doable. It's just you get one of these.
Yeah. Oh, that'll.
Frame rate.
Not much I can do about it right now. I don't want to mess with it too much and spin. Anyway, we'll see how we go. All right. So what's new, folks? What's going on, John? We'll start with you, mate.
Oh, I've got no stories to tell you, man. It's the same old stuff. Yeah. Sorry, I've given you. I've got nothing to give you. I sit at home, watch as many YouTube videos as I can from all the people, and I'm slowly getting to the point where I can't keep up with them all. I think I've oversubscribed.
Yeah, I know what that feeling's like, man. Yeah, it's crazy, especially with the gear stuff too, because it's just so much of it. Everyone's doing a lot of the same sort of reviews and that, so it is. And especially because I know, like, I've been doing daily content pretty much the last 3. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going up, so it's crazy. Yeah, Earl makes a good point. It's pixelated I'm pixelated in real life. No.
And he really does stutter.
No, well, maybe. What about you, Steve? Anything new
you got
to the collection?
Go ahead, Landon.
Oh, sorry. I was just looking. I see behind Shane. I see a little micro. Is that the Micro Terror behind you there?
Yeah, it's the little dark one.
Yeah, I had that one. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't actually used this yet, so opened it or whatever. It comes with a little speaker. Have you tried this one before? Is it the one you had?
That's the one I had. Yeah, I liked it more than the Vox. I had that and the Vox MB50 at the same time, and that one I preferred.
Okay,
it's
cool.
It's a different kind of tone, but that one is that's like a fuzz, more of a fuzzier kind of sound, I think.
Well,
it's different.
I plan on what are those amps worth normally? What, about $100 or something? $200?
That one?
Yeah, I don't know what they're worth.
No, they're expensive. Here in Canada,
okay.
they're $279.
Wow. Okay. Well,
yeah, they're pricey.
I might have to just run this through it. This isn't mine, by the way. This is on loan. This is a crazy PRS. I think it's a Bacardi, is what they call it. So it's insane. Cool. I'm like scared to touch this bloody thing. It's crazy. All right. What about you, Mark? What's news with you, man? You any new gear? Sorry, Landon. I cut you off there, mate.
Oh, yeah, no, come back to me. I'll talk about something else after.
Cool.
Well, yeah, nothing too much new here. I can't remember what the last time I dropped in what I got, but I sold one of my old basses a while ago. My dad and I shared. We had one of the Ibanez SR700s, those real skinny necks, but it was just too small for me, so we ended up selling it. I picked up one of the Squire vintage modified ones, and it sounds fantastic. It's just it was a secondhand one I picked up off Guitar Center, and I got a great deal on it. It was like $200, and it's a great bass, but it needs a lot of work done. I'm almost considering reselling it and trying to get something else, because I think I could probably make a profit if I sold it again. I'm a little torn. That, and I want to pick up probably a Tele at some point. I've got just a Les Paul now, and it sounds fantastic. That's probably my favorite guitar now, but I miss that single coil chime. It's not the same.
It doesn't matter which one you get. If you get it like a Telecaster or you get a Les Paul, you end up wanting the other sound at some point.
Yeah, because I sold my Strat to get my Les Paul. I had the Mexican Strat for a while. It was great, but it wasn't like gnarly enough. You know, like those Mexicans, they sound great, but they just don't have enough grit to it. And one of the guitar players in my dad's band, which is a huge Les Paul guy, he's like, you got to get a Les Paul. So I took him up. I actually got a great deal. It's one of the it's the high end Epiphone. It's the I can't remember. It's the one that has the Gibson pickups though and the locking tuners. I forget the model of it, but yeah, it sounds incredible. But I just, now I'm wishing I had stayed with the Strat. So I think I got to pick up a Tele at some point because I was getting sick of those tremolo systems, man. I hate having my bends go out of tune. So I'm gonna eventually pick one of them up at some point.
Got to lock that off.
Learning to live with the tremolo on a Strat is a continuing journey. But when you want single coil sound and chimey, you got to get.
Yeah. Yeah, I was hoping that my Les Paul was gonna be able to do it all because it's got the coil taps, but I mean, you never quite. You obviously never get that real sparkle that you really need. But I would love something like. I would take a tremolo if it was like a Bigsby system. Like my dream guitar would be like a nice Tele with like a Bigsby on it, but they're tough to come by. I don't think they make any models with it now. It's just like stuff that people have put together. Yeah, so I got to do some searching.
You can always just put lots of springs in it too, and just deck it, or just have just a very little amount of movement. I do that on one of mine. I have like 4 springs in it, and it doesn't move very much. And I usually don't even put the arm on it, but when I want it to just, tremolo a little bit, you can just do it with your finger.
Yeah, I was doing that for a little while. I think that's probably the trick. So, yeah, I'm always going back and forth. Chances are I'll probably end up back with the Strat, and I'll probably just do that, put some more springs in it. I think that's probably the way to go.
Yeah, it definitely works, man. My Strat's just got 4 springs, and I tightened them up enough, and they don't move at all. So it's not too bad. But, yeah, having that loose is just really, really tough.
Yeah. I always hear some nightmare stories though, but I think it's isn't it like the Squire ones though? Their tremolo system just don't work. So I feel like I'd have to go up to a Mexican if I want to get like any tremolo stability. Is that still the case? Because I know that was the case back when, that those Squire tremolo systems, it didn't matter what you did to them, they just go way out of tune every time.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Actually, I've got one at the moment in the other room, so I'll give it a go. I haven't played a left-handed Squire Strat other than a Classic Vibe in forever. The Classic Vibes are fine. I had a Classic Vibe 60 Strat, and tuning was great. I used to use it for gigs all the time. So
yeah, I might have to try that because I know the guys over at Anderton's, those 2 dudes that do all the videos, they're fantastic. But I know they did like their big Strat shootout, and I know that one of the things they said was those. I forget which Squire it was. It might have been the Classic Vibe, but this was it was an older video, and it went way out of tune compared to the others. But I'm not doing any. Okay. I'm not doing any dive bombs, and this is also a video from 4 or 5 years ago. So chances are it's gotten a bit better since then.
If it was 5 years ago, it probably would have been the just the Gold Series Strats, Matt. Possibly. I mean, I don't think I don't know if the Classic Vibes have been out for 5 years. Maybe they have. Maybe time's just flying. But I have a feeling they I picked mine up. I think the year that they came out while I was traveling, or maybe they were out the year before that. I don't know. It was at least maybe 4 years ago since they came out.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's been too long.
I just got asked if I'll be doing any Kiesel guitar reviews, which, look, it's a brand I don't see here, and whether or not they make lefties is a whole other thing as well. So they look like cool guitars. I've just not had a chance to see one in person.
They're pretty much made to order, I think, so you're not going to just find one in the shop.
Yeah, they're all custom, like the Carvins and that used to be, I guess. So they were Carvin at one point, I think.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So yeah. All right, Landon. So what's news, man? What's cooking?
Yeah.
On your side of the globe.
Lots of stuff. You guys can hear me okay? I'm using a different mic here.
Doing good.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Latest thing is I'll turn my camera around here. You can actually see it. I don't know if that's going to show up. The little Yamaha THR. Did a comparison with that against the and that video is getting a lot of attention. There's a lot of people, like I knew going into the video that the Yamaha is in a different price range. It's a lot more expensive and feature wise and everything. And the idea was just to show that how they compare tonally, but there's some people that can't get over the fact that they just don't agree with what I've done. Basically, there's one guy that's ranting on about you're not doing it right with that Yamaha. It's in a different class, and I'm like, dude, I know. I'm just trying to show a quick comparison. Anyways, it's getting funny. And then I'll turn my camera around here again. We got one of these on the way. Is that showing up there?
Yeah. Cool, man.
That's the what is that? Trans Blue. That's what they call it. It's in a Les Paul, but it's an Epiphone. And I have my reasons. I tried it in the store and liked it, so it's not going to kill me price-wise.
That's another good reason.
This is the American price right there.
In that recent video I did, in terms of feel between that guitar and the Gibson Les Paul Classic, in terms of feel, neck size, shape,
yeah,
it was pretty much the same. I actually think the Epiphone stayed in tune better. I won't get into that, but every take I did on the Gibson, I had to retune it. I don't know if it was just the strings or the way it was set up or what, but tone-wise, the Gibson probably had the edge, but I don't think it's anything you could just change the EQ on the amp, and dial it in a little bit.
I think, I agree. I tried both. I tried the 3,000. That's the price here for a standard Les Paul 2017, $3,000, and this one was $675 or $700, something like that. Same thing. I picked them both up, and I don't know Gibson that well, but holding them, I just looked at them, felt, and I just can't see $2,300. I just don't understand where that money goes. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
They're really, really great guitars now. I think, I had my suspicions when they changed factories at one point. I thought, oh, here we go. But they've been fine. So this was a couple of years ago. I thought maybe assumed the worst, that the quality might go downhill from there. But they've always been good. I've played Epiphones for years over the course of my life, playing all that awesome stuff.
So it should be cool.
Yeah.
And the only third thing I'm going to mention is, I don't know if that shows up down there. My Katana 100. It's going away. I'm decided to let it go. I'm so happy with my PV Classic 20, the mini head, and I've got the PV Bandit. I don't really need it anymore. I just find I turn it on and it's just like, I don't know what to do with it. It's got too much stuff. Maybe if it was the only amp I had, I'd have more fun with it. But I just find, they call it option paralysis or whatever, right? Like when you have too many features that you just can't just focus on playing it. You're just dialing the buttons and playing with all the software and everything. So
that's the PV music, Shane.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem with digital amps, and a lot of people don't realize that. Like when I always say to people, they go, "Oh, what should I buy out of the Mustang or this or that?" And I'm like, what do you prefer? Do you prefer tinkering with something, or do you prefer simplicity? That's the first answer I always give them, because I know even many other channels have done videos on the Mustangs or whatever amp, and they always say the same thing. It's just too easy to just never stop fiddling with the amp, hoping to find a better sound.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
like the PV Classic, I turn it on. It's got. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're right. Go.
Oh, I was just gonna say the PV Classic. You turn it on. It's got 2 channels, clean and your dirt, and basic EQ and reverb. That's it. You're good, and you can just start playing.
There's a PV Classic 30 on eBay here at the moment in black Tolex, and it looks really tidy in terms of its appearance. It looks almost brand new. So the starting bid's really low, and no one's bid on it, and it's got a few days to go. So I'll keep an eye on it. I almost made a huge financial mistake last week. I don't know how many people use Instagram and that, but I've been on a couple of the videos I've posted recently. I've been using that black Relic Telecaster. I don't know if you've seen that. That's arguably the best sounding guitar I've ever played in my life. It is. It sounds fantastic. Man, they're expensive. But after a couple of cold showers, I did the smart thing and decided, you know what, I don't need a guitar worth that amount of money. So I didn't want to have to deal with the debt.
I always say, do what feels right. Go with your gut. So
Hey, here we go. Jamal, how are you,
Hey,
man?
what's up?
I gotta
Very
step
good.
out. I might be back on later. Okay. I'll see you guys
Okay,
in a bit.
cool, man.
Maybe.
No problem.
Take care, Landon.
All right, take care,
Yeah,
Landon.
man.
How's things, man?
Good, good. I just got home. Well, I've been home, actually. I'm about to go take my wife out for her birthday dinner. Her birthday's today.
Oh, cool.
Ooh, better not forget that.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
Why don't you just invite her to the live stream, man? It'll be like just as good a party on here than it would be anywhere else.
Yeah.
I'm sure subject, man. She's like, no more guitar talk. I got her a present. I got her what she wanted, a metal detector, but
You didn't get her a new Les Paul or anything?
at the
for,
same
her
time,
birthday?
I went and got
Yep, we're losing him.
oh, you got me there?
Yeah, there we go. We can hear you now. I think the video just cut out.
Yeah. And it's kind of whack in the garage. No, I got a K818 off of Reverb Green Child.
Oh, yeah,
I'd make
wow,
sure,
cool.
Yeah, I had to make sure that after her gift, so she wouldn't get mad.
Nice. What do you think of the pedal?
She's like,
What's your
when I get a
impression?
present, she gets a present. You know, I haven't had, unfortunately, because maybe tomorrow I should be able to get it all, try it out and see how it goes.
Yeah, they're pretty wild, man. They're
Yeah.
just go easy with the gain controls on both sides, and you should be able to dial in something pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know
what
what
up to the Mustang.
no, that probably won't work very well at all into that amp. It'll work better into anything else. In terms of what other amp do you have again? I can't remember.
Marshall.
Oh yeah, it'll rock into that. You have to worry about that.
I have a modern.
Cool.
So what's with everybody?
I was just going to bring up the K818. No, yeah, we only just kicked off the chat a little while ago. So, yeah, we're just going over all if there was any new gear news, but it doesn't look like anyone's really done anything too silly since last time. So,
We're trying to behave.
I'll show you. I'll show everybody.
I'm just not finding anything.
Yeah. So that's the pedal there. It's basically a tube screamer on one side, on the left side, and a clon on the right side. It's that type of thing, except Mason makes really great stuff, the guy who does the Green Child pedals. So, yeah, they're pretty wild. I've probably got a YouTube demos. He's probably got some stuff.
Probably got your demo.
Yeah, I think if I play that, I'm going to lose my video connection, so I better stop. But, yeah, good pedal, man. So, yeah, let me know what you think of it anyway. Because that actual pedal was my concept for...
okay.
Yeah. They asked me, like, what would you want in a pedal? And I said, something like that. So he basically built it.
Can't go wrong with that.
He's good, man. He's a good engineer. He knows his stuff. And I think he's an ex-military engineer or something. So he's used to working on submarines and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Keep an eye on those ex-military guys.
Yeah. So anyone who has any questions or whatever, feel free to ask. I'm keeping an eye on the chat now. One of those things I kind of forget to look at it every now and then. So Guitar Fender in the chat says the Black Relic Tele was awesome. He had dreams about it. So yeah, man, I was so like, it's an elaborate purchase for someone like me. I just, as much as I would love to have owned that, I just can't justify it. So I'll tell you a little bit of crazy news about what's going on. So I took that guitar out to try it live just once, and I had my regular 52 Tele with me, and I had Rick and Brian and all my friends that have been on the channel over the years in the room, and we all agreed the black guitar left mine for dead. So in terms of just tone, something about the single coils, man, I hadn't used them for so long because a lot of the rooms I'd played in buzzed. So I've ordered a new set of single coil pickups for my 52. The neck pickups basically going to have the same output as the custom shop one that I've played, and the bridge pickup's going to be a bit hotter. So yeah, I got some on the way, and I'll do a swap at some point until I start playing in a buzzy room again. But yeah, man, I was like stunned how great those single coils played and sounded even compared to my Bardens. I've tried it before and not been that happy swapping them out, but having them back to back, it was just like, in a room that didn't buzz, the tone was crazy good on the single coils. So, yep, I'm an idiot, but I'm going back to single coils for a while.
I just wanted to ask you, Shane. I've been following you for a few years, and I don't really remember the Telly before you put the Bardens in. So you've had them for quite a while, obviously.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
How long have you had the guitar, and then how long have you had those pickups in it?
I got the guitar, I think 2000. It was either 2010 or it would have been 2010. I think when I was away, and I put the Bardens in about a year after I got it. I played live with it with the original pickups for ages, and listening back, the tone was great. Like it was really good. So 2 of the places I was playing at every month for like 2 years basically buzzed. Like you couldn't walk in with single coils. It was awful. So that was part of the reason I swapped it. And I liked the sound I was hearing from my friend Rick, who had him in his guitar as well. So it's like, I'll order a set of them. But basically, yeah, I've had him in for the majority of the time. I did get it sent a set of single coils, but they were a bit too vintage sounding for me, like a little bit too mellow in the top end. They were good, but they weren't quite the sound I was used to, especially with overdrive. So I put the Bardens back in, and I thought they were going to stay in there till the end of time, but it's weird, man. It's the first time I've ever played a guitar that I felt like tonally left my guitar for dead, and I've never felt like that. I've played a lot of really great Tellys that might be just as nice but different, but I've never played one that I just went, wow, that just destroyed the sound of that, and that's the first time that's ever happened. So I've basically tried to replicate that neck pickup. I measured the output and all that for the guy and Smitty, and he's going to try and sort of nail the output and all that kind of stuff with the neck pickup. And yeah, it was just it was a religious experience playing that thing. It was really good. And I don't even like relic guitars, right? I would prefer it to be like a normal looking guitar with that type of tone. I'd pick that any day. But yeah, it was really, really good. It was really good. Have Fun Guitar Play says, hey Shane, when did the video on the solid state amps and the price start going up? So I think he's talking about the Red Stripe PV Bandits. I've been I think my first demo of a Bandit would have been 2008, sometime back then. So it goes back quite a while. I gigged with the PV Bandit for at least a year or more, just because it was a really great amp. I've still got one sitting right down there.
BB.
Yeah. They're just good amps. Like I get asked so many times, like, what do you think of what solid state amp's the best? And I always say that has to be one of the best solid state amps, if not the best. And probably the most easy to find as well. The PV Bandits are they're everywhere. You walk outside, there's one sitting there. They're just everywhere. Here's an interesting question. It says, this is from N Fugo, I think it's pronounced. Question for Shane. Hey, still trying to grow as a player, or do your videos take up most of your time these days? No, I'm always trying to, I always practice. I might not always practice with intention, which is something that I try to do most of the time when I play. Sometimes I just pick up the guitar and have some fun. But if I'm playing on a backing track, I still find that that's playing with intention. But I'm still playing new things and coming out with new stuff in my playing. And it's only when I go back sort of like 6 months I notice it. I'm like, hey, I'm playing this. So that was not an approach I had before. There's a lot of licks that will remain in the bag because I like the sound of them. But no, I'm always trying to grow, always writing new songs. And I think you got to keep pushing forward to some extent. You'll go through your flat periods and all that, but you just got to kind of keep moving forward and finding new inspiration. You know, like when I really got sick of playing guitar, and then I heard this guy, and I told him, I met Chris Kane a couple months back, and I said, man, you're a savior. You know, I went all these years from playing guitar, and then I was like kind of getting bored with it. And then I heard you play, and I said, you reignited the fire, man. I said, I can't play anything like what you do on guitar, but you were the guy that kind of was like the second, you know, he was like the second Clapton for me, or Knopfler for me. This guy's like unbelievable. So I said, no, it's just a great, you got to find those things that inspire you to want to learn and keep moving forward, I suppose. But yeah, so that's the long answer. Cool. All right. Feel free.
Shane, I wanted to say thanks for giving us such a good lead-in for tonight's hangout.
What, 15 minutes?
No, it was up on your website for like 2 weeks ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
That it was going to be tonight. I was like, oh man, there's no way I can miss that one.
No, that's what I'll do from now on. I'll schedule them a couple of weeks ahead of time. So I'll do the same thing with the next one. I'll schedule it after this, and we can put one in for December, I guess. Or what's the date today? Yeah, probably be early December.
It's the 11th here. It must be the 12th by you.
Nah, we're the same day, I think, today. I could be wrong, actually.
No, today's 12th.
Yeah, it is the 12th. Yeah. Sorry, you're 9.
We're 17 hours ahead of me.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember the date. So, yeah, cool.
Yeah, we were a bit worried when you didn't turn up last week, Steve.
You know, I like I was saying at the time, I didn't I didn't get any heads up that there was going to be a hangout. And I'd been out most of the day with the wife. We were shopping for this and doing that and chores and, stuff that's been sitting around for like, when we get some time, we got to, that wind up being one of those days. And then I just sat down and just checked my email, and it said, oh, there's a hangout notice from Shane. And when I got on it, it was like, I was trying to get all my stuff together as I was getting on. Just didn't look very well organized, but yeah. So I remember Shane saying at the end of it, he says, I'm going to try to put this one out a fortnight ahead of time. So I was like, okay, that'll be cool. So I knew it was coming, and I kept an eye open for it. And I saw on his website that it was listed and said, 10 days from now. I'm like, okay. So I put it up on my calendar, so I didn't make sure I didn't miss it, and I was here for the start. But yeah, I was laughing with Shane a little while ago because I was saying to him, of all the folks that come on your hangout, I think I hold the record for the most appearances.
Yeah, John might be catching us now. I think catching you a little bit. John's pretty regular as well. He'll pop in almost most.
I've been trying,
but I think Steve still he's here more than me. So yeah. We just got asked, what's our thoughts on the Baja Telecasters? I think they're great. They don't make lefties, unfortunately, but from what I saw, they're great. Oh, you had one? Cool.
I had one a little while ago, yeah. It was really nice. As a matter of fact, it was the first Telecaster I had, and I was going back and forth. Did I want a Telecaster? Did I want a Strat? I was like, I tend towards Fenders anyhow. Mm-hmm. And then I was going to walk out with a Mexican Strat, and the guy at Guitar Center, he says, one thing you might want to think about before you leave, and he pulls this Baja off the wall, and it's got the Strat pickup in it in a middle position, and I thought that was pretty cool. The only thing that it wasn't impressed with in the long run was that the pickup switch was like a 5-way sort of, and there was never any pickup position in it where you could get like a standard Tele where you can have bridge and neck on at the same time. And the Strat pickup seemed to be in the 2 and 4 positions more often than not, and it just never quite got there. It was good. It was mostly Tele. It was a little bit Strat, but it sort of wound up being one of those things for me that because it's in the middle, it never really has any personality. For me, it was like also for me the Mustang 3 amplifier I had, which I thought was a real nice amplifier. I liked it. you know, and like you're talking about before, you know, lots of dials and flips to twizzle with. But the one thing that actually eventually sort of caused me to sell it was that even though it could imitate so many other amps, it had no voice of its own, which, you know, just after a while just sort of struck me as odd. And I wound up selling it for my Blues Deluxe, which I like a lot.
Yeah, cool. All right, so I just got like 45 emails from people that want to be on this particular live stream.
Oh yeah.
So that escalated quickly. All right, what I might do while we're having a chat here, I'll also send out the link for today's one as well. Someone mentioned it looks like the people come and go with these things. They're not like, and no one's obliged to sort of stay as long as they want, or as for the full duration, I should say. And that's just one of those things. People have connection problems if they're joining with telephones and all that kind of stuff. So I'll shoot out the link again to everyone that's just joined. It may take me a few minutes just to get the email addresses and all that kind of stuff. So
I'm back, but I got to run.
There we go.
About to take the wife for dinner. So
cool, man.
Houston, we have a problem.
I know. We don't have a problem. We got a World Series ring. But,
yeah, good for you boys. Good for you boys.
Yeah,
it's okay. Shane doesn't know much about baseball. Hey, Shane, next time you're in the States, whoever you see, someone's got to take you to a ball game.
All right.
And,
I haven't been
just, you know,
come to Houston.
explain.
Come to Houston with the champs.
All right, cool.
Guys, I got to go. Y'all take care. If I catch up with you, I'll catch up with you guys. All right.
Take care, Jamal.
No worries. Take care, man.
Say Jamal.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, you'll like that. Next time you're in, we got to take you to a classic American sports.
Yeah, I went to.
I was going to say, how cool is that? Houston's not just the champions of America; they're the champions of the world.
See that?
Yeah, I know. That's that American thing, man. The world champions, and the sport doesn't. You know, it's not a global sport. I love that term.
You know, it's played a lot of places all over the world, though. I think baseball is actually an Olympic sport. And
really?
It's very big in Asia.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's very big in Japan.
Yeah, and I believe the Japanese are actually trying to claim the we invented it kind of thing, but you know, not really.
Yeah, I'm having trouble getting the. Hang on,
I think it evolved out of kendo.
Yeah, really.
I guess my theory with that is world champions are usually, you know, it means that like the Olympics where everyone's, you know, playing in the same competition. That's funny. Let me. All right, I don't know if I can do this now or not because I'm on my little computer. Let's see if it crashes or not. Anyway, it should be fine. All right. Sorry, guys. I want to see if I can get this out. So if anyone has any more questions or if you want to be on a live stream, just email me at intheblues@outlook.com and I'll send out the link in the email. I'll reply to you now. I'll copy the email. This is going to be much easier. And then I won't spend 20 minutes of dead air here trying to get this done. All right.
It's all right. John and I will be entertaining while you're busy.
All right. Cheers.
Oh, now let's put the pressure on.
Hey, John, what's all that very cool stuff in the background there?
What cool stuff you looking at?
Well, I see a Batman. I see some sort of like monsters on up by your speakers.
Well, that's I'm an Iron Maiden fan, so the monster that's on their album covers, that's actually a mask.
Okay.
And you know, sort of being that I live by myself and I don't have a wife to say, you're not putting that crap up in the lounge room. I put it up in the lounge room.
There you go. Oh, yes, I am.
Yeah, I've got my little Batmobile collection there behind the glass. Big kid. Why grow up if you don't have to?
Really? You know, absolutely no reason to grow up if you don't have to. The only reason to grow up is that people force you to.
No,
that's
they say,
grown up's a trap.
Yeah, really.
Guys don't grow up, they get old. That's what they say. I totally agree with that. I still like the same stuff now I did when I was a kid. On the most part.
Man, when I get together with little Brody, who interrupted our chat last time, a couple of weeks ago. We get the Lego out, and that's it. Gone. Finished.
Yeah.
The rest of the world disappears.
All right. So everyone who just sent emails through about the live stream, I've sent emails out, and I'll add you to the list on the cloud so I don't lose it this time. And yeah, we should be good. So, hey, we got Isaac. How are you, man?
Yeah, I got in.
There we go. You got no headphones. What's going on?
Don't worry, I'm going to get them now.
All right. Cool. It's the only rule is headphones. No, we're not getting any feedback yet, but it will happen. And then
the bear is here.
Hey, Terry.
What's up, Terry?
Well, I was away eating dinner, and then all of a sudden I noticed there's an email thing, and I'm looking through refresh my subscriptions, and I'm like, Shane's on.
Come on, man. You had 2 weeks warning.
Yeah,
I was on the last one. I didn't think it was that long ago.
Yeah, it's gone kind of quick, hey? Like, it's been 2 weeks. I thought I'd schedule them a couple of weeks apart. I'll probably do the next one second week of December, I think. And yeah, I'll schedule it up after this anyway.
It has been exactly 2 weeks since the last one, so yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
No, it was good fun. It was a good fun stream last week. I thought, yeah, let's keep it. I always say I'm going to do more, and I don't. So I schedule them as soon as we're done. That's the plan.
Hey, Terry, I've always wanted to tell you how much I like your Han Solo thing in the background there.
Oh.
It's very 3D looking, hey?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it was a cover-up that my ex that I'm still friends with bought me for Christmas. So it was like, huh. And I was trying to think, well, I could use it on my chair. And then I've been saying to myself, I've been playing in front of this wall since 2010 on YouTube. And I said, I think it's definitely time for a change. Not to mention in case there's any dirty handprints. So, yeah, so I figured, what the hell? Put it up.
Cool.
I like it. It's cool.
Thank you.
I was a huge Star Wars fan back in the day.
You did know that they've actually just announced they're going to do 3 more movies, eh?
Oh, man.
I don't know. Once they got past the first 3 or so, I don't know, maybe if it was just a saturation point for me, or the story seemed to come to some sort of logical conclusion. The ones they've done recently, I don't know. They just don't have the interest for me, anyhow, that they used to. When the first one came out, which I think was actually episode 4, I really forget. Yeah. I was stunned by it. I was stunned by that movie. I went like Star Wars buggy for a little while, Yeah, but the later ones, not so good. But the one with Han Solo going, I liked.
It's pretty much accepted that episode 5 was the best of the series. Unfortunately, you can't just watch episode 5. It's got no, you need to know what came before and what comes after.
Yeah.
I was looking at
is it episode 5 or is it actually episode 2, right?
Yeah.
Depends how you look at it.
The way you look at all the
first
confusion,
movie was
how
episode
they've done
4,
it.
but yeah.
From a certain point of view.
Yeah, I assume from what they've said about the 3 new movies that one of the people are going to actually write and produce. It's going to kind of be, I guess, like a new storyline, new story kind of thing. Nothing based on like what the current stuff is.
Mm.
And hey Zach, hey Ninja, and everyone else who said hi.
I remember when I was living in Michigan back when episode 1 came out, the new Jar Jar Binks one.
Oh,
and first day we got in and all that kind of stuff because we were in a small town, and I just remember like walking out of there going, man, I just don't get it. And people were like, oh, that was amazing. I was like, was it really that good? And I remember one of the guys was a huge fanboy, and what's that? And I said to him, like, it wasn't that good, man. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, visually it was kind of okay, but it was pretty boring. And I remember how like mad the dude got. Like it was like instant rage. I don't know if you've ever seen like what was it? 28 days. What's it called? What was that zombie movie called? Where the rage thing gets into the dude's eye and he goes crazy. Anyway, yeah, it was some weird horror movie.
It's 20-something days later or something.
Yeah. That movie, and basically, like, it was just like, man, this guy's crazy. Like, and then I think it was universally accepted that it was not very good.
I can remember standing in line for the second movie, which would have been episode 5, I guess. Yeah. And there were actually people in line standing there. One guy was dressed as Darth Vader.
Oh, wow.
One of the women waiting in line was dressed as Princess Leia. I mean, people just like, went flat out Star Wars buggy. But it seems like after the third movie that they produced, the interest sort of fell down somehow. I mean, they came out with Jar Jar Binks, for God's sake.
Yeah. The coolest thing about the new ones was seeing Yoda fight. I remember I laughed my ass off when I saw that. I was in tears. I thought that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I enjoyed it, but it was like, man, it's hilarious. Seeing this little green dude like just flying around everywhere.
He was ricocheting off the walls. Yeah.
It was awesome.
But he needs a walking stick.
Yeah. That's what and Christopher Lee's awesome. I got to say, like, I think he's just got one of the greatest voices ever. So having him in there too was pretty cool. But overall, man, I don't know.
Well,
Yoda
was just faking the leg.
Sorry, go ahead.
The last series with Adam Driver, they're playing Kylo Ren, like the rage tantrums. It's like just so bad and everything else. You can't help but start to laugh. It's like, it's like, okay, have another little tantrum.
There we go. Got to take his
family trait, though.
Landon says, PV have Star Wars guitars.
Yeah. Actually, they had, over the last, I think, probably 5 to 7 years, they've had license for Marvel and Star Wars guitars.
Yeah, like, is it just like putting like decals on Strats and stuff, or
like,
there's a picture of Spider-Man on a black Strat?
Yeah, Predator with like a Wolverine, their Tele style with like Captain America and stuff like that.
Bring up some pictures so we can check them out here.
It's like a if a kid got a black Strat and he likes Spider-Man, just put a picture of Spider-Man on there.
Yeah,
it's nothing much.
Here we go.
Yeah, they're pretty much just graphics across the front of the guitar.
Yeah, nothing as special or high end as Hello Kitty.
Laugh, those things are cool and money now.
Hey, now don't laugh. That's pretty high end.
I got the window on.
Not high end till Fender makes a Hello Kitty.
Well, they even do acoustics. Look at this.
Yep.
On the headstock. Oh, look at this. This is awesome. Someone buy this. Oh
my God. Looks like a He-Man battle axe.
If you can do stuff like that.
Yeah, that or else
Gene Simmons is going to sue.
Copy of Gene Simmons'
If you can do stuff like that, you can be the ultimate narcissist and put your own picture on
it. There's a shop, there's a place here in Sydney. Oh, not here. I'm not in Sydney. I'm in Melbourne. But there's a place in Sydney that I met. I met the guy who was from the business in Melbourne here. And he basically does this exact stuff. Like he'll basically print anything on whatever guitar you want. So you take your guitar in, show him what photo or picture or artwork you want, and he'll do it. And it's insane. The guy's like just an amazing artist, or however he does it. I don't know what he does, but the guitars look insane. It's a hot, and that's all he does. All he does is jazz up guitars for people like that. And
I think it would be just a little too strange to come up with a guitar with my face staring back at you,
It's funny, that last photo you had there, that last guitar with Yoda. I was thinking to myself when you had it up there and where Yoda was facing and everything else, and I was saying to myself, These frets look low.
No pickups do you have here?
yeah.
This pickup's awfully hot, not?
You wonder if Yoda would look at the chord charts and then sort of like the same way he talks, get them all out of order and just totally stuff the song. It'd be a bugger to jam with.
That is not a D.
That is why you
C sharp, it is. C sharp, it is.
The Aguefish in the chat says, for real, those Squire Hello Kitty guitars are badass. I've been looking for a good deal on one for a long time. Mate,
they might be hard to find. They're very collectible. The price got up on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was...
didn't they go up from... Haven't they gone up from like $100 to like $300 or something? Like, it's still not like a crazy expensive guitar, but it is a lot more than it should be worth.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
I can't remember who it was, but somebody took one of them and actually said, "Will Hello Kitty degent?" And they actually made it degent. It was hilarious. I was like, it's not that hard. As long as it's got a good pickup, you turn it down low and it goes dud, 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 dud.
Got the new humbuckers, I see.
I just thought I'd share this with you. So I just got a text message from Dr. Rick, who's on my channel. And on Facebook, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I did a quick live shootout between the PRS McCarty and the Little Crow, which is behind me here, this one, the Raven. And he just literally said in his text message, he said, Little Crow 1, PRS 0. So I'm going to do a proper shootout on YouTube with both of these guitars. I had a feeling the Little Crow would hold its own, even though that's like a $10,000 guitar or whatever it's worth. I mean, it depends where you live, but I just thought that was amusing.
Well, I think the reality is everybody assumes because it's Gibson or Fender or Paul Reed Smith that, you know, nobody can make a similar guitar that might actually sound better or maybe play better.
Yeah. I got to say, like, the idea of the video that I shot was literally a first play test of this thing. Because, I mean, look at it. It's stunning. It looks amazing. And it feels really good to play, too. I haven't actually played one of these with such a fat neck before.
Yeah, that's got a gorgeous top and finish on it.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But tone-wise, every time I pick up my my Little Crow, I always think, like, this is easily the best humbucker sounding guitar I've got. And then, you know, this actually, it's got a darker sort of sound, but in a really nice way. They're pretty cool guitars. So hopefully at some point in the next 12 months, I can get my hands on a Lefty SE. I really want to get one of those. We'll see what happens.
Now, wouldn't it be shocking if you found out the Little Crow had really super cheap pickups that sounded good compared to like the super expensive Paul Reed Smiths?
Yeah, these are actually a company here called Briley Pickups. They make he makes just really great pickups in Australia. I reckon some of the ones he makes are some of the best in the world. And this guitar sounds so much brighter and clearer than any of my other humbucker guitars. There's something about it without sounding like shrill. So yeah,
is it a Australian-based custom winder?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So it's got the Peter Green sort of thing, the out of phase and all that as well. But just straight neck and bridge comparison, you know, there's not a whole lot in it. I mean, the PRS obviously looks visually nicer. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that's subjective as well. But just in terms of the wow factor, you know, you're going to see that and most people are going to go, oh, man, that looks pretty wild. But, you know, surprisingly though, like as nice as the front is, the back looks pretty bland.
Oh my god!
It's just brown.
It's all flat.
It's transparent to some extent, the color, but it just doesn't. I don't know. So I was expecting to see something else on the back, maybe, but anyway.
Well,
paint Yoda on it.
They're definitely nice-looking guitars.
It's the part that's against your stomach, and stomachs are colorblind, so they can't tell the difference.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I like John's idea. Just put a picture of Yoda on there.
No, that's kind of true. When I see guitars that have like bursts on them, I'm the type that even if I was to do a burst on a guitar that I was working on, I'd want a burst on the front and the back, not just on the one side.
Yeah, I don't know what
it's just one of those kind of visual things, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess the opposite side of that is Little Crow's kind of looks the same. Like it's just that one piece of wood, with the one type of finish. But
yeah, but that's fine though.
Yeah, that's it.
I think you need a carved top to have a good looking burst. So if the back isn't carved, I probably wouldn't want to burst on the back.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Carved makes it stand out more.
I'm hearing some sort of weird noise. I don't know if it's just me. You can hear that or not.
No, I can hear it too. It's like a little.
Let's isolate it here.
Almost sounds like electronic talk or something.
I think it might be. It's John. That's all right. No big deal. Yeah, it's not bad. It's all right. I just muted all the mics just to see who it was.
It's John.
What did I do?
Nah, it's just picking up. It sounds like a Wi-Fi signal.
It's one of those new community line cell phones. Like back in the day. Oh, you're on the line. Yeah, sorry. Okay, goodbye.
I remember those phones. Party lines, they called them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't hear
Mario
anything on
says
this
if you play guitar behind your neck, Hendrix style, you want the guitar back to look good. So
yeah, I guess it would be that, huh? Sure.
Well, I play an ES335, so I can't do that. But
yeah, that'd be an awkward guitar to play behind your head. That would.
It really would be.
You'd have to reach as high as you could to get it. Yeah, that'd be such a great guitar, man. The 335s.
I would say probably a V or an Explorer or one of those RDs. That would probably be harder.
Yeah, flying V's fall off everything. Doesn't matter how you try and hold those things. They're great guitars, but man, slide off your everything.
I guess if you're trying to play it behind your head, you could sit the base of it like back here, and like just pluck like this or something.
Yeah. There's a good video, man. You should do a how to play behind your head video with 5 different guitars. It might go viral.
A super jumbo.
Yeah, actually, a super jumbo would actually be like the craziest thing to try to play behind your head.
Yeah.
Or a jazz box style guitar.
Yeah.
Never seen videos of Paul Stanley playing his flying V like a violin. Like he'd hold it up to his neck and.
Oh wow! No, I haven't seen that before.
That I can't imagine that looks cool. Can't imagine that looking cool.
Just stuffing around. Used to play it between his legs too.
It's not like Hendrix where he was actually thrusting and gyrating, like making love to the guitar.
Yeah, that was a little odd.
Yeah, but hey, that was that era.
Yeah, I remember it well.
Made me feel
some of us were lucky enough to live it. Or maybe unlucky. Depends on how you look at it.
So we had a question. What other? Oh, hang on. Where was it? Sorry, I've just scrolled and I lost it. Anyway. I'll find it. Oh yeah. What non-Fender amps do great Fender tones? It's kind of a weird question, but I mean, there's so many companies that make Fender style amps. They're either a copy of a Fender or they're a copy of a Marshall. Just about all of these boutique guys, from Two-Rock to all of these other ones, they basically are doing a very similar thing to Fender amps. They're slightly tweaked and all that now. I mean, they also make other types of amps as well, but there's a million different boutique Fender type amps out there, from Achilles to, there's a whole lot of them. You're paying for on the most part, the hand-wired factor. That's what you're paying for. Whether you can justify that or not is up to you. But if you like Fender amps, just buy one of them. unless it's like I don't know why you'd want to look for something that's the same.
Dumble modified Fender Blues Junior or something.
yeah, you'd be paying like $10,000. This doesn't make any sense. But yeah, there's like plenty of companies that make deluxe reverbs, all that kind of stuff. Clones of those, you pick them up. Just type in hand-wired Fender clone into Google and spend a week having a look through them.
I don't know that they actually hit it on the head though. I think they get close, but I don't think they actually nail it.
Oh no, some of these guys do pretty well, man. It's not like their circuit's so emulated now that these hand-wired guys get it pretty much spot on or better.
Yeah.
Well, the reality is the blueprints for the electronics is out there, and like various other amps, and if you're good at doing it and you can get your hands on the blueprint, it's not hard to reproduce the same amp.
And what they do,
you can't unfortunately call it a Fender.
Yeah, exactly. The thing that a lot of these guys will do better is their cabinet quality's better. It's not a huge thing. A lot of people think that makes no difference, but I have a feeling like, like they've done tests where they take this might be a Tonewood thing, I don't know, but like a pine cabinet versus something else. And generally the way that the cabinets are joined and all that kind of stuff is supposedly like speakers, like hi-fi speakers. Acoustically, it can do something to the sound. Whether it's better or not is a different thing, but you'll find that a lot of the boutique guys will generally use a higher quality, just like the dovetail joins and all that kind of stuff on their cabs. Might not make that much of a difference, but it may also as well.
I think
so David joined, I think. How are you?
Yeah, Cheddar Kung Pao. How you doing, guys?
Hey, there we are. How are you? Thanks for joining in. Good to speak to you finally. Other than on the text thing, so cool.
Saw everybody talking about amps and PRSs and thought that was an interesting discussion to get in on.
Yeah, cool. Well, feel free to butt in. The way that this works is whoever talks over someone the loudest gets preference. And we no need to apologize if you cut someone off, because it's inherent that when you talk, you can't always hear everyone else talk. So jump in, man. If you got something you want to add, go for it, mate. It's where are you from, by the way?
I'm from Michigan, Southeast Michigan.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah. It's pretty cold right now.
Yeah. We got a really nice day outside today. It's beach weather, finally. So, not hot, super hot, but it's going to be a good day. So, welcome, man. Thanks.
We're going in the opposite direction.
It seems nice and sunny in New South Wales right now.
It's pretty much a normal day there too.
And in Queensland, it's rainy season.
Yeah,
very rainy. I visited New South Wales last week, and very lovely weather.
Cool. What state are you in again? Sorry.
I live in Queensland.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Your daylight savings doesn't make sense.
You got the. What are they called?
When I went to New South Wales, I actually saw more people wearing Akubras than in Queensland. That's just a misconception.
All right, cool. So
it's funny that you mentioned that it was a state. I didn't know whether they called them states or provinces down there, the individual territories in Australia.
Yeah, states and
in the US, you have like 52. You have like 51 or 52 states. Over here we have like 5 or 6 big states instead of just a bunch of small ones, because that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, some of the states come from like very small to actually bigger than a European country. Like Texas. Texas is massive. Alaska, God almighty, there's almost no end to Alaska. It's huge. Yeah. But you get other small states, particularly up in the Northeast where I am. New Jersey's not a very big state at all.
No.
Lots of people. The population density is quite high, but the actual size of the state is not that big.
All right, so we're having more people ask how do you get onto the live stream. So if you want to be on it, just email me at intheblues@outlook.com, and I'll put you on the list for the next one. So I think some of the list may have got lost, so I've added everybody back to it. And yeah, you'll be on the list for the next one. So what I normally do is email out about 30 minutes prior to the stream, but I'll schedule the next stream about 10 minutes after this one finishes. So you can check my feed on YouTube, find out when the next one is, and you'll get a heads up on when that is and see the date and time and all that kind of stuff.
Hey, Shane, here's something to kick around. We were talking a few minutes ago about the wood on the amps, and it makes a difference. How much difference do you think an open back or a closed back makes on an amplifier?
Oh, plenty. Yeah, depending on the room you're playing in. Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things I'll never buy a closed back cabinet anymore unless it be a quad box or something. I feel like depends on what kind of sound you like, but for me, I always prefer a mostly open back because it feels like it sort of hits the wall and spreads more. It's not just coming straight past your legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you want like a lot of power and pushing, that's when you get a closed back. And some people even have stuffed back speakers, and that it doesn't open. It just sounds very forced and pushed.
Mm-hmm.
My Friedman cabinet's closed, and I like the tone out of it a lot. It's the runt cab, 1x12. But it's definitely quieter than probably would be if it was open back.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be more directional, probably more punchy like that as well. I always think the bass response changes for what you lose maybe in directionality of sound. It kind of feels maybe more bassy with the back open slightly, but that's not always something that you'll hear when you play live anyway. So it's one of those things. It's just personal choice. You very rarely ever see a quad box with an open back. You might here and there, but most of the quad boxes they don't really need to be open back just based on how many speakers they got. But
I can remember seeing a comment made someplace by a guy that was a drummer, and he was talking about how one of his bandmates was killing him with his open back amplifier because I guess he must have positioned it just so, and he was like, I hate open back amplifiers just for that same thing. He's killing me.
Has there been like a tone wood debate on cabinet woods? Like if you've got the same cabinet design, but one's made of this and one's made of that?
No, I think I have a feeling it's pretty common knowledge that some cabinets do something specifically like for. I don't know if it's just better's a subject. Like better's not the right word to use. It's more like. Most high-end stuff will use pine. I don't know why. I think it supposedly sounds better than I think the weight of the actual wood speaker and all that kind of stuff probably plays some part into it, but I could be wrong.
Well,
I've seen Baltic
made
birch
out of cardboard, so
there was a discussion on one of the Guitar Gear Tech Talks that TTK and Jeff Diamond or Demonte or whatever, however you want to pronounce it or however he wants to go
guitars.
by. They had one talking about that, and of course Jeff, as owning Diamond, even he said like he has a specific design, a specific material, the way he does all his enclosures. And it's like he said, he sells all kinds of them because of how he does them.
It just comes down to what vibe you like more as well, in terms of like people like one or the other on the most part. I think most Fender amps kind of have or at least some open back to it. It's funny that the Super Reverb I had was completely open on the most part at the back. So that's maybe one of the exceptions to like a quad boxy kind of amp that was completely open back.
Seems like a lot of Fenders have open backs.
Yeah, that's kind of why I probably always go back to them, because of that clean tone and that kind of spread that you get from them. I never felt with other amps that I had closed back. I haven't owned too many with a closed back, but yeah, Ignited was one that had it sounded great, but it had a really boxy sound. And I was like, oh, the cabinet was small too, but I don't know.
A lot of the Vox and Orange have a lot of closed back solid state amps, I noticed.
Yep.
The previous Vipers I had, the original first gen Viper 30 and the Viper Tube 60, they had an open back, whereas on this VIP 2, it's almost totally sealed except for a port, so it's kind of like base ported.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of the Vox AC
so kind of
all that are all closed back as well, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I think that has to do with, I guess, doing more depth, I think, maybe. Like in the bass range.
Yep.
There was a discussion in that almost 5-hour Tone Talk episode with John Swerer and Pete Thorne with Dave Friedman, and they were saying during that when you have a partially closed back cabinet, you don't want the baffle to be too firm, that you want it actually kind of loose. Otherwise, it won't sound good. I don't know the science behind that, but those guys would know.
Yeah. Now, actually, a friend of mine replaced the baffle in his Super Reverb. I thought it was, I sort of shook my head when he told me. I'm like, what? Why? I guess, no, it makes a huge difference and all this sort of stuff. And supposedly he's racked with it. So I don't know if it's just a placebo effect, but he's all about it. He reckons changing that was one of the best things he's done for any amp, even over speaker upgrades. So there must be something to it, maybe. So that'd be a really great
I think
video
some people might just have some people are just compelled. They're like, I haven't bought gear in a long time. I need to find something wrong with my sound to feel that urge to buy something. I think that's sometimes a lot of it.
Yeah. Or they also see who their heroes, what they do to mod their amps, if whoever's changed this.
And so why not?
Yeah, that's it. What are the Friedman amps like, David? I haven't had a chance to use them. Have you got?
Yeah, I got a Runt 20, and I really love it. It has a great clean, and the drive is a Friedman drive, so it's like a modded Marshall kind of. And it takes every pedal I've used with it really well. I've used some Wamplers, and I have the Wayheach Camel Toe, and yeah, it's really versatile and sounds great. I think anybody who wants like a Fender clean with a Marshall overdrive should look at the Runt.
Okay, that's pretty much the perfect combination right there. That Fender clean Marshall drive channel. That sounds pretty cool.
I'd buy one.
Yeah. I went for the separate head and cabinet so that hopefully, I don't have to buy another cabinet for a while. Though I am thinking about getting a 212. But I just didn't want to fill up with too many combos.
No, fair enough.
I would think.
Cool.
I would think that the people who are constantly moving their stuff around would probably think that a separate head and speaker box would be a good idea, because at that point, you'll have two things to drag around with you, but they'll be a whole lot lighter than one combo. Shane and I have chuckled a few times over the weight of some of these amplifiers, and my aching back, and all the stuff that goes with it like that. But I would think that if you had a separate head and separate speaker box, like I say, you're carrying two things, but each one's less than the total of taking it around as a combo.
Yeah, and those are pretty light, being just a 20-watt head and a 1x12. Those aren't too hard to move around. I have a 120-watt combo with a 1x15 in my basement that I don't really move because it weighs about 100 pounds, literally.
Yeah. You need to get a friend to help you move it around.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Or hire a Sherpa, one or the other.
So Talon Floyd just says, hey guys, I think Shane would like it if you thumbs up his video. Thanks for that, man. I appreciate that. So yeah, if you enjoy the live streams, please give it the thumbs up. They will carry across to whenever the video goes cached on YouTube. So feel free to do that. Talon Floyd actually won the giveaway, the poster giveaway, the first one, when not this one, but the prior zombie poster, which is actually over there on the wall now. So yeah, he got. I sent him out a pedal, and hopefully it's all arrived and all good. It's been a while now, so hopefully I haven't heard anything. So I figure it's all good. So yeah, thanks guys, I appreciate that. But yeah, a mate of mine has got a Supersonic 60 head. I used to have the Supersonic 60 combo, and having the head and a box in both hands walking is so much better than having the heavy Supersonic 60 amp in one hand. It was 50% easier walking with that than trying to carry this brick of a thing with one hand. It really is. Like I think, maybe in the next few years I'll think about maybe doing something like that again. I did have a head in a box at one point, but I thought it was more trouble just because you need another cable to hook up the box, just little first world problems. But yeah, I don't know. It's something about it, especially when you're dealing with like more than 40 watt amps. If you can get a head in a box, it's generally so much easier to walk around with. It really is.
You could get all 6 of those Joyo mini amps.
I've had a few of them.
Be able to just shovel them into a duffel bag, and then you can just flip whenever you're in the mood for whatever one.
Yeah. They're actually not bad for their size. Those things, they're all right. They're all right. Those little things, but just nowhere near loud enough for the kind of volumes, kind of noise I make. Unless
it'd be nice if you can get everything you need out of an amp that small.
Yeah, maybe one day they'll do it. I don't know.
I think surely one day, technology will be good enough that you won't have to lug around 4x10 cabinets, 412 cabinets.
Can you imagine somebody like Jimmy
I'm too lazy. I can't carry around a big
one of
rig
these things
like
after the size of the amplifiers he used? Holy shit!
Compact.
I was just gonna say, now thinking about it, I had that one guy coming by my Viper Tube chassis and speaker, and he had the orange Micro Terror going through it. And before that, I actually had a Hotone Purple Wind going through it. And I'm thinking about it now. And the only difference between the Hotone, of course, is totally solid state, Class D power amp section. And of course, the Micro Terror having the 12AX7 preamp, but it also has, I think, a Class D power section. And I almost have to say they were relatively within the same output and loudness.
The Hotone Purple Wind, that's like something this big, right? Like they're really tiny.
Yeah, it's literally almost the size of my fist.
Yeah, wow.
Demo one of those ages ago from memory.
Yeah, you did demo one long time ago.
I'm kind of losing track of all stuff.
One thing I was interested in was something that you'd I think unboxed when you first announced you were getting all the gear off that music store where it was like an amplifier but in the form factor of like a pedal board type sort of thing. I think
that's the Blug.
Yeah, and not long before that, I saw Tone King had a similar sort of unit. And I thought that's a brilliant design. Why? I don't know whether now that everyone's downsizing amps and stuff like that, that's a great idea to, great place to have it instead of having.
No, totally. It's great.
Randall, I think, had a similar unit. Randall had one. Hotone actually has an acoustic unit, a bass unit, and an actual guitar unit, very similar as well too. That basically has your distortion, a reverb, and I think a modulation section in it. Cool. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
So this particular one had four different channels. You had clean, a classic crunch, which was kind of like the first gain stage of a Marshall. Then it had like a Marshall full-blown gain channel on it, and then it had like a metal-ish channel, which good luck with me trying to demo that. But 100 watts, and it was about this big, really light, and I was pretty impressed with it overall. With single coils, it wasn't great, but if you play humbuckers, beautiful. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, The only problem I really find with those little lamps is that they usually don't have a lot of clean headroom. They're usually very much like if you want gain and you sound all the time, that's when you can play them at volumes.
Oh yeah, you're right about that. I mean, so though you're right with those 5-watt ones, you get no headroom, or even 15 watts. There's not a whole lot of headroom in there. The Blue one is actually 100, and it's a legitimately loud, massive, clean channel. And they got these things in them called which other companies use now as well, but they're new tubes. They're called or something. They're like an alternative to like a 12AX7. They're these micro valves. I'll see if I can bring it up. And the cool thing, the thing that this guy actually did that's interesting and way better than most of these small amps is it actually has, you can switch between channels.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. It's not just like limited to one sort of sound. Oh, here we go. I'll see if I can bring this up.
Yeah.
Where is it? Where's the share button? Come on.
Vox has their little new tube. I don't know if they're calling it also a new tube, where it's like a tube on a chip. I don't know if you've seen.
Oh, that new tube technology.
Yeah, it'd be the same sort of thing. It'd be the same. So yeah. It's called nano tube. Yeah, because it'd be exactly the same thing, pretty much. But that's it.
Man, it's pretty funny. Vox is like, we're trying to reinvent the tube, and it's just like, well, why don't, if the tubes in your amps didn't suck when you bought them already, I might be able to put trust in you to make those tubes. But when you buy a Vox amp, the tubes are always horrible in them, I find.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, unfortunately, a lot of the amps coming out of China have junk tubes on the most part. Not all of them. I've had some that have been fine, but there's always one in one of those amps that is just pretty
I hate hearing the word tube because I own a Blues Junior 3 in Australia, as you know the issues with that, Shane.
Oh man, I know, it's shocking.
I just got mine back. I've made like 5 trips to that music store with amp problems because of Fender.
Wow.
It's surprising.
I just got it back. I have the reverb fixed, the tubes fixed. I don't want to go back there anymore. If I have to see that store again, I'm going to scream internally.
Yeah, I know the pain, man. I literally had 2 out of the box that didn't work properly. The reverb tanks were faulty, both of them. So I was like, you know what, I'm done.
Like, oh, we'll get one straight from Fender, special order. They bring it in and it still sucks, and the reverb tank doesn't work, and the tubes rattle. And it's like, man, this is like from their good factory in Mexico, not that from China, and it's still horrible.
I don't know.
I returned by a drone.
I returned a Blues Deluxe earlier this year.
I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that tone that sounds like an angry swarm of wasps. Oh, I got the amp for you.
That's kind of what my Blues Deluxe was doing too. The little power light was the socket that the light bulb was in was resting against the frame of the control panel. So when you would play with the volume up like at all, it would buzz along with whatever you're playing. So it sounded like there was bees in the amp.
Oh,
so
nice.
That went right back.
Oh man, and
when you want to go for that white stripe sound.
Man, that's brutal. I mean, I've been lucky with my Blues Deluxe. I haven't had any problems with it other than the handle breaking the first day I bought it. I literally took it out of the car, put it. Oh, it's the second day I had it, I think. The first day that I took it up to it, I was going to take it out to play. Picked it up, handle snapped, and I held onto it and got it straight back down on the ground, luckily. But
oh wow,
man, like just getting it into the car, it was snapping at that particular point. And since they replaced it with a good handle, it was all right. But yeah, I don't know what's going on sometimes with that stuff. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know how they take a good popular amp like that and trash it though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's just common that a lot of them have problems here, man. Like it's ridiculous. Like I tested 5 Blues Juniors in like 2 or 3 different shops a while back, and they all had problems. I couldn't find one that didn't buzz or make this really kind of noise in the reverb. So
I had one. I didn't have any problem with it. And the only reason I went to the Blues reissue was The Blues reissue had a little more tone to it.
I think it's just a power conversion. There's something wrong with the way they're converting the Australian power
maybe that's something to do with it. Sure.
I got a lot of messages on that video from people all over the world saying, "Man, it's not just Australia that gets the arse end of the gear. It's a lot like people in Brazil were saying the same thing. Like they were just like, man, I've had so many of these amps that have been faulty, and all of it seems like overall the bass breaker amps are the biggest culprit. They're the ones that
we need to collect the data and see what kind of AC current that each country is running, so we can identify the problem if there's just a certain amount of power the amp isn't responding to.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I got to wonder if the places that you're hearing most of the complaints about. From what I understand, mostly in different countries, you either got a 120 amp service or a 240 or 220, I think. And I wonder if here in the States it's 110, 120, and if they manufacture them to those kind of specs, when you take it and then send it to a different country who has a different electrical supply system, I wonder what that does to stuff. Maybe that's the culprit.
It's that.
Well, I think
cheap tubes as well.
I was going to say, I think you hit on it right there. I think it's the simple fact, Steve. It's like you said, someone can come up with the design and say, okay, this all ideally should work this way. And then they hand it off to, say, like China. China says, okay, yep, and they do it all, but China might not have the exact perfect parts. So while the prototype maybe in the US sounded great, maybe the actual product that's being produced in China doesn't have the same sound quality or has issues. So I think that's it too, is companies trying to, try to do it better or a cheaper way to do it. And I think sometimes that's how, it gets to be the way it is.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
you guys, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of amps made in China, we had one in the chat ask about the Prs Tonzura amps. I don't know if any of you guys have played one. I played one at Sweetwater, and I liked it a lot. I didn't like it enough to buy it, but I did like it. I thought about buying one, but...
So what are they made in China?
That's a Chinese amp.
Yeah, made in China, but to PRS.
How much are they charging for one of those PRS amps? Because I heard that they were very boutique prices.
So the Tonzuras, which are made in China, are only $7.99, which is about the same as a Blues Deluxe.
Okay, so about $3,000 in Australia.
$3,999
or 1,000 Canadian converted to Canadian.
Yeah. So compared to the Blues Deluxe, I thought it had a comparable clean but a better drive channel. But the clean wasn't quite the Fender clean, which is why I got the Blues Deluxe. But then they had the issue. So
yeah, it's hard to beat a clean channel on a Fender amp.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. I was talking to my friend Brian about this the other night when we were driving up to the jam. He was saying, like, when he went to test the PRS amps, he felt exactly the same thing. I hadn't played them, but he was saying that I've tried some of them, but not anything recently. He was saying that it's the same old story. The clean channels are good, but he's already got an amp with a great clean channel, and the drive channel was all right, but not good enough to replace his clean channel with pedals. So I don't know. It's always one of those things. I was going to ask you guys too. What do you think about like PV have moved all their amp manufacturing to China, like every single amp in their range, and they're still charging the same price. What do you guys feel about that compared to like you'd think they're saving?
I think it's relevant to me because I think I can have an opinion on this because when I got my Blues Junior about over a year ago, my mate was getting his PR version. On our way to a band rehearsal. And so we got our amps about the exact same time, and he got it, we drove to the Sardi's music, he got the amp, then we went to the band rehearsal, and I really thought that his Classic 30 made in China sounded way better than the Blues Junior. And I just got the Blues Junior too, so that kind of hurt, and it cost a little bit less. mind you, it needs a cab, but yeah, I don't think there's any issue with the new PV in China.
So it's
I
not
do know that
necessarily
a lot of
not
people,
necessarily talking about the price, not necessarily talking about the tone, but like PV are charging. Well, in Australia, what I've noticed is $50 more now for the same amp, which is made in China as opposed to being made in the States.
So on the one hand, I would expect that they would have a price discount when they save costs of manufacturing, but
That's what I would have thought too.
But PV is like going under, right? So maybe they need that savings just to stay afloat. So
yeah, you might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of, like others have said, different pricing in different parts of the world, and this converts to this and everything else.
Yeah, but I feel if the quality of the product is just as good, and I did feel like that the quality of the product was fine, I don't have a problem seeing that I would be happy to spend the amount of money that I would on the product. So even though I know that the labor is cheaper, the product I still feel was good enough to be marketable at that price.
No, you're right. I mean, look at the PV Bandits. I've got a PV Bandit from the early 90s, and it's still going strong. So, and that's made in China. I was just
wow, really?
shocked when the PV Bandits go forever, man. They're like
no,
Red Stripe one.
It was made in China in the 90s. Oh wow! When did they? Because they used to make everything in the US, right?
Yeah, they did, but most that Red Stripe series of amps were the first ones that were split. Like I think North America got most of the. There were two series or two runs of that Red Stripe one, from what I know, and some are made in the US, but you don't see a whole lot of them in Australia. I think it was pretty much 90% of the ones I've seen here or more are all made in China, and they just keep going strong.
I would have to say, if I remember correctly, from my PV Special 112 I had, that was made in the USA, and that was an 80s model, which of course there was a Bandit back then. So I think the 90s was when they started doing the Chinese production, like you were saying.
Well, my
sometimes too, when you buy an amp, you expect a certain, I don't know, what am I saying? Like I was going to buy a Marshall amp a couple of years ago, not anything big or high end or anything. And I was looking at it, and it sort of sounded okay on YouTube and stuff. And you've got, the British flag on it. And it turns out the damn thing is made in Vietnam. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
And sometimes I think, when you go buy something, to some degree, you're buying it on its reputation.
Yeah.
If something is advertised as being, if it's a country in the States, you expect it to be made in the States. If it's a product made, with an English name, it should be made in England. I mean, it's just weird like that, and there are a few things that I sort of don't want to patronize anymore, simply because they've been offshored, and it just doesn't seem to make sense anymore.
Sorry, I missed something. What was the issue with the guitar that had the British flag on it? Was it just that it had the British flag on it and it was made in Vietnam?
It was a Marshall.
It was a Marshall amp.
It was a Marshall amplifier. And Marshall is, I mean,
okay.
when you see Marshall, I see the Union Jack,
Yeah,
and to find that it was made in Vietnam was just like just a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, the DSL
reminds me of that
made in Vietnam.
Reminds me of that one thing I had to laugh on one of the forums. There was a guy who was buying an Epiphone, and it was like it was a 98 Epiphone Les Paul, and he's like looking at it. He goes, "Is this real or is this fake?" It says "Made in Korea" on the back. Aren't all Epiphones made in China? Everybody's just like, no. So the guy wasn't going to buy it because he thought it was crappy because it was made in Korea. And it's like, no, you want to buy that one above all.
Yeah, they're really good.
I don't know. I've played Korean ones. I don't know. I've played a lot of Korean ones and did not like them. Did not care for them at all.
Maybe it was a bad setup.
I don't know. I guess it's preference. I guess, but I don't know. I think the Chinese ones.
Oh, they're not making bad instruments in China these days. I mean, like the majority of the Epiphone stuff's great. I picked one up off the shelf the other day. was awesome. Like, I don't think it necessarily comes down. What the point of the conversation, or at least from what I was asking you guys, wasn't necessarily the quality of it. It was more like the price. You would assume saving 50% or more, 60% on labor costs would drop the price of the amp and not raise it. But you could be right. Whoever mentioned, the company could be in financial trouble. But what was I going to ask? Oh yeah, Isaac mentioned he thought that the PV Classic killed the Blues Junior at a rehearsal. Last Sunday I was at a jam night. They had a PV Classic on the left side of the stage and a Blues Junior on the right-hand side of the stage. Brian and I looked at each other and went, wow, the Classic's just wiping the floor. And you got all that extra headroom too. They sound like a much bigger amp. And I totally agree with you. And I feel sorry for you as well at the same time because you bought the other one. But yeah, the Classic, the Classics are great amps, man. They really are. And they're compact too, same size basically almost.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if anyone makes a small jazz amp. Because like that's just all clean headroom and then just use pedals. Joe Bonamassa comes out of the corner to berate me.
Rolling jazz chorus, man.
The Roland Jazz Chorus 40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all just. But I wonder how well jazz amps take pedals. Like,
that's fine. The great cleans, man. And that's it.
Yeah, clean headroom, and then just use your pedals for overdrive, distortion. It's like I don't know why you wouldn't want that.
And that's the thing, like those jazz chorus do that spectacularly as well. They're great amps, man. I had a chance to play one a couple of months ago live, a few nights in a row, and they're really good. So yeah, they're worth checking out. They're good amps.
You know, when you start playing with stuff like pedals and everything else, you know, I think if you take as a general tenet to say that you can take a clean amp and make it dirty, but you can't take a dirty amp and make it clean. I mean, you can, but it really just doesn't work out.
Yeah,
so if you've got a clean amp, you know, and you put the right pedals with it, you can make it as dirty as you want.
And when you sometimes you just want to play at home and you can't get a good sound on an amp that's, especially a tube amp that's all the way low. So, you know, to get a good sound, you need the pedal board to have your sound sometimes, and depending on the situation.
That's one thing that the Runt does well is it has a master volume on the dirty channel, and you can actually, it sounds good even down quiet, which is something Phil McKnight said about it when he reviewed it, and I found I had the same experience once I bought it.
I want to look that one up, man. I want to double check what. So it's a 20-watt amp. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it's Friedman.
Yep. The Runt 20. It's a 2-channel. The one like limitation of it is the clean channel basically just has a volume and then like a bright switch. It doesn't really have an EQ. Only the dirty channel has an EQ. But I find that the clean sounds great and it doesn't really need the EQ.
Oh, here we are.
Yeah, it looks good,
Jen's got it up.
I'm liking the idea
more. That's actually a good price.
A separate head and cab.
Oh, that's American prices. So add $2,000.
Yeah. 2 bands, you'd say.
Yeah, I don't know how much they'd be here. Actually, if they're made in, odds are if they're made in
3,900 Australian.
What, really? Oh.
I'm just saying. Like,
no,
the way it's converted.
He believes.
The sad thing is that was believable.
You know, we're not exaggerating when we believe you when you say that, though. You know, we don't exaggerate the prices when you say that kind of thing, and we truly believe you.
And it would be probably about 2,000 Canadian. Likewise.
Actually, I've got one of the local shops here, Deluxe Guitars in Melbourne, have them on their website. So let's just, I'll bring it up and see how much they are. This will be interesting. Oh, they're not too much more than the list price is 2,470.
Dude, that's
actually Australian.
Wow, that's the combo. That's the combo.
That's really good, though. That's really good for Australian conversion.
But I don't know about over there, but here, you can get a discount from the list price, pretty sizable on something like that.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd get it for less if you would, not many people would just buy an amp from in Australia straight off a website unless it was at a good price. So, yeah, or discounted price.
Yeah. I'm very cautious about buying anything on the internet, not just gear. And gear's expensive, so I definitely wouldn't buy gear on the internet.
Yeah,
I've been buying from Sweetwater, and I've had good experiences with them. With returns and stuff like on that Blues Deluxe.
But isn't it disappointing to wait for something to come in the mail or by UPS or whatever the shipping place is going to be, and then to turn around and open the box and find out that it's DOA or it's just horrible, or it was shipped by Gorilla Airlines and they snapped the neck on it.
Gorilla Airlines.
Have you ever seen some of these people at the airports and stuff? I mean, they're throwing this stuff around. I mean, literally, they're throwing it. So I mean, there's
the Neanderthal post.
So when I say it comes on Gorilla Airlines, okay, I'm being humorous, but not that far off from the truth.
No, some of those videos are brutal, man.
Post.
Yeah.
I've seen videos of UPS drivers delivering for right before Christmas, and there was one picture of a guy. He's got some sort of HD TV, and he just throws it over the guy's fence.
Oh man.
What's the chance that this TV is going to work? After it takes that kind of abuse. So.
You're lucky. From what I understand about Sweetwater, they got a pretty great customer service. Unlike a lot of web shops, and all that, they don't generally don't care too much. But I hear good things about them, even though I've never. We don't have it here.
I think they found a way to put gear acquisition syndrome into those candies that they give you to make you want to buy more gear from them.
I think the point that I'm trying to make, though, is that you're best off, with something in your hands, playing it.
Yeah.
You like it, you don't like it. You don't have to wait for 2 weeks for it to show up and then find out that it's defective or not working right. And at that point, you still don't know whether you like it or not because it was DOA when it got there.
Well, my best friend is Gumtree, which is basically Craigslist. It's basically Craigslist, Gumtree, and
I use that a bit as well. It's good.
Yeah, Gumtree is really good. Cash Converters is absolutely horrible. Cash Converters. They look really good over where you live in Melbourne.
Yeah, they can be hit and miss. Yeah, they're right. They're right.
Yeah, in Brisbane, Queensland, they're horrible. They are all horrible. It's all just Freedom.
Oh yeah, that junk
Freedom.
Stuff. Yeah, that's the thing.
And Essex and the Livingstone and.
Well, Shane has taken us shopping a few times to that place, so
John's gonna get onto you about that, mate. That's you've just stepped over the line.
Is he a fan of one of those brands?
You got to remember too that the stuff that finds itself in cash converters is usually stuff that has been bought for some kid that plays it for 2 weeks and then turfs it, or people that if it's something good, why would they have sold it?
Yeah, that's it.
Well,
they need money for drugs.
The thing is, with cash converters, because I actually, believe it or not, I actually bought a Freedom Les Paul because it looked nice.
Yeah,
but they're actually a Freedom dealer. They get them brand new.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, and if they're brand new, I don't understand how, because they're missing pots.
That's the quality, man, right there. That's the quality.
It's the freedom to assemble it.
There's just holes. There's holes in the guitars.
Assemble it yourself.
Where a pot's supposed to be, and
some assembly required.
Missing a strap button. Just certain things.
DIY.
Yeah, that's brutal. Yeah, you're right, though. I've seen that in those shops. Cash converters in Melbourne are really hit and miss. I know a couple of really good ones here where you can walk in and find really good stuff, and others that only have junk. And it depends who manages them as well. I find like some shops, there's a guy in there who actually knows about instruments, and they're the ones that generally have the best stuff. And they're the only 2 or 3 that I go to now. And basically, yeah, there's a lot of junk out there. But actually, before we keep going ahead here, I just wanted to give a shout out to the Tone King. He's part of the live stream here. He's joined in.
Give him one of those bad boys right there.
One of those bad boys.
Yeah.
Send him a link.
Yeah, well, I can't replicate that accent, Lewis, so I apologize, mate.
Yeah, he's not on the mailing list.
The idea of...
Is he from New Jersey?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
The idea of this stream is the subscribers on the most part, you know, like I don't think... Oh, well, with the exception, I think Landon is now still on the email list from prior, but yeah, it's basically just for everyone else. So anytime we do the YouTuber ones, that's just a different thing again. So I like doing both. So it's cool.
Well, that's invite only for your high quality friends, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, mate. They want to ragtag guys.
Yeah, we know our place. Leaders.
That's okay. They'd be lost without us.
So yeah, guys, if you're not already anyone watching, if you don't know who the Tone King is, which I highly doubt, check out his channel, and yeah, he's got lots of videos going up lately as well, which is great. So,
isn't he from New York?
New Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey.
He's from Jersey, is he?
Jersey.
New Jersey.
No,
He's from the place we talked about.
I tell you what, if you go onto his live streams, occasionally he'll bring out whatever he's barbecuing the next day, and that's just some funny stuff. So,
oh, that'd be.
Hey, we've got another YouTuber
I always
here
like
now.
that because I barbecue. I love barbecuing myself,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm not talking about the bad Australian barbecue that you know, Shane.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, don't go there. It's
Australian
all right.
barbecue's
Kangaroo
bad.
steak.
It's bad. It's it's sausages and bread. It's sausages and white bread and tomato sauce.
Very technical.
And
Sounds appetizing.
well done steak, but no, I love a pit barbecue.
Yeah.
But
I was just laughing at the bread statement. It just, yeah. We're having a barbecue. Yeah, come round. Okay, sausages and white bread. Done.
Yeah, exactly.
I would be so disappointed.
Bit of Colts just laying on the radio.
We've got Woodesso's guitar mods as well as in the chat here. So welcome, man. And I learned how to pronounce the name of that channel finally. I was like, Woodsos. I was like, I couldn't work that out. So that's Nelson.
It's spelled like it sounds.
Yeah. So welcome. If you like videos of people fixing up stuff and pulling things apart, check out his channel. It's actually good value. So it's good to see a couple of the other YouTubers in here, which is cool. So thanks, guys. If anyone else has any questions in the chat, feel free to ask away. We've got about 10 minutes or 12 minutes left. And then
I'll throw one in.
I'm going to go to the beach.
Sure, rub it in.
It's about time, man. It's been cold here for years. Sorry, John, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking of a question before, and it was something that you were doing a while ago, but we're on the topic of other YouTubers. There's I don't know how long ago it was now that you were doing like shout outs to smaller channels, and you're trying to get some of the other channels to band together and promote the guys that needed a bit of a leg up. And so sort of two-part thing is what happened to that, and then does anyone here have any channels that they really like or want to give a suggestion for?
I think the problem I saw with it, sorry, just let me, in terms of promoting other channels, I generally do that differently now. I'll just shout out to other channels in videos, or I'll link related videos in the cards or something like that. You can't please everyone, and I think the problem with YouTube is everyone thinks every YouTube video has to be to their liking as well. So when I get other people involved in these videos, like I did a few of those, maybe 2 or 3 of them, there's always a not the majority, the minority of people that always whinge about the other people in the video doing something good. I don't get it. Like, they're like, oh, I don't like this guy. It's like, well, you know what? It's one of those stuff. You don't have to watch that video, or you don't have to subscribe to them. We're actually just, it's a good thing to do. I really like doing it. I help a lot of other YouTube channels silently, basically. Like, I don't, you know, I literally help a lot of them. There's probably 3 or 4 that I'm in contact with a lot, and they're smaller channels. So the things I learn along the way, I'm like, yeah, try doing this. This will work, or whatever. So I still help a lot of channels out. I just don't help them. I just don't do public videos like I used to as much. And it's only because not everyone always wants to get on board with them. And then there's always the people that just whinge about stuff. They're like entitled, you know.
Where's this whinging on the internet? Is there some way I can look this up?
Yeah. So it just, you can't please everybody. And, you know, even when I do the live YouTuber summit things, when I've had Tone King on or anyone, and this isn't to point fingers at him, but I always see in the comments, oh, why'd you get this guy on? I'm like, well, why not? You know, like, you don't know this guy in person, and and this isn't related to Lewis, of course, but it could be anybody. There's always someone who has a whinge about someone else who they think they don't like.
Is it really not related to Tone King, because he happened to be the guy you mentioned just now?
It's Tone King.
He's in the chat right now. It's like, what?
I lost 1,000 subscribers having him on the live stream. No.
Lewis, we love you, man.
He's just sitting there right now. Oh gosh. Oh, that kind of hurts.
It works the other way too. So when I did a video with Pixie Licks at his house, and people were like, why'd you get this guy who plays blues on, or you know, or whatever. They just don't. They don't see the common sort of thread. It's
you got blues in my shred.
yeah.
You're never going to please.
So you can't please everybody, and that's one of the reasons I stopped doing it. You know, I thought to myself,
yeah, like I thought it was excellent because you and Pixie are 2 of my favorite channels ever.
Oh, thanks, man.
And so I thought it was really cool to see you do a little small collaboration video.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
it's like a 30-minute video too, so I don't know why everyone's like, it's like a 30-minute video. It's not a big deal. Just don't watch it.
No, well, that's it.
All these poor bastards being forced to watch videos at gunpoint.
Yeah.
It's like I was trying to interject and say in regards to like what Shane was saying. I've been on YouTube since 2010, and I've seen it all. I've seen people being biased against people because they're looking for donations to help with a channel, people that aren't looking for donations, people that are biased to this, biased to that. And I mean, it's just like Shane said, you know, at some point in time, you just simply got to say, you know, I don't give a rat's ass, to be quite blunt, about, you know, who likes this person or who likes that person. You know, if I like them and I want to have them on, that's the way it should be, because at the end of the day, it's how you yourself run your channel.
Yeah, that's it. And recently, like, I was just going to point out, this is how it works as well, right? I had a shop sponsor my channel, which basically means I can go in there and borrow whatever I like and make more videos than I've ever been able to make in theory. Basically, I can get whatever I want. They're not paying me. They're literally saying, take whatever you want, just give us a shout out in the video. I thought that's an awesome idea, because that's what I do anyway. Anytime I borrow something off my friends, whether Rick lends me something, I say, you know, thanks to Rick for giving me this to demo, right, or whatever. Or whether a pedal company sends me something. I had 98% of the people were supportive of the idea. They said, oh, this is great. Can you get this? Can you get that? And the other ones went, oh, this is a really bad idea for, you know, because now you're just going to make the same videos. You're going to make the same videos everyone else is going to make. And I'm like, that's not how it works.
No brands on your channel.
Sold out.
If you have a pedal you're reviewing, you got to blank out the brand on the pedal. If you're using a guitar, you got to blank out the brand on the headstock. No brands anywhere.
Yeah, so exactly. And that's one of those things. I'm thinking, how is that any different? I still get to pick what I choose to do. I still get to, you know, make the videos however I want. Me selling out would be literally being paid to make videos for companies that they're telling me to make videos and changing the format and not doing reviews, and that's not what it's about. So it's funny. It doesn't matter what you do and whatever good news or good ideas come up, there's always someone that just likes to whinge.
Well,
and I
think
think it's
if
more,
you get paid,
more of a reflection of their own lives.
I think if you're getting paid, I wouldn't even call getting paid selling out. I'd call it selling out
not.
when I call it when you are forced to state an opinion that isn't your own. That's when you sell out.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
And no one sees the distinction. They just think, you're being paid. You sold out.
Yeah. And when the shop said they wanted to sponsor me, I sort of said to them, look, these are my conditions. I take whatever I want. I say whatever I want about any of the stuff, and you don't basically you're not giving me things that basically you want me to demo. It's whatever I choose to take, and they're like, that's awesome. So yeah, go for it. So it was. That's why my channel's been a little busier than it has ever been. The last 30 days, I've literally doubled or tripled my analytics, which is awesome. So I'm just going to try and make a big push on the channel the next month or two and have access to stuff like this PRS. You know, like I couldn't go out and just buy this. There's just no way. So for them to say take it for a week, have a play with it, that's so cool. Like I really dig that, and I'm appreciative of the offer. So. And not every.
You probably won't even need to buy gear anymore because you'll just borrow something for a week, get over it, and then borrow something else.
Yeah, maybe.
It might keep that urge from buying.
You're a sellout. You bought a Paul Reed Smith. No, I didn't. I just borrowed it.
But the other thing is too, like it's not going to stop the regular content on my channel either. So I'm going to still do all the stuff I would normally do as it would come in, but. It's literally, I'll have access to stuff that I can use on videos to mix things up instead of being stuck with the one amp all the time or whatever. So it's cool, right? Anyway.
When you borrow a PRS from a store, you make a video of it. All of a sudden, there's this video of this guy with the phone up his nose going, this guy is lying about how hard it is to get ad revenue. Look, here's a video of him captioned with a new PRS. Everything gets blown out of proportion. That's the internet for you.
It's an interesting thing, and a lot of the smaller channels are like, oh, I'm getting these comments about this. I'm like, dude, wait till your channel's 20-30 times larger, you know. And that's I literally have filters on my videos now, just for, you know, there's certain words that will instantly block comments, and yeah, if you read some crazy stuff, you really do. It's insane, but you just got to let it go. And catch you later, Tone King. Thanks for hanging out, man. He just said he's heading off, as are we, in about 3 minutes. So thanks for dropping in. I'll catch up with you. All right.
Speed round.
Yeah. Anyone?
Go.
If anyone has any other questions in the chat, let us know. But
what is your opinion? That is for everyone on Joe Bonamass's opinion on pedals being lazy, because I think there's a lot more in it. Because there's a lot more in it. It's not just like pedals in general. Like it can be interpreted different ways. And does anyone have an opinion on that?
I think he was just being deliberately provocative to get some attention. Honestly.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, when
he's the kind
has
of guy.
About 3 or 4 pedals out under his own.
He's used pedals a ton. Yeah. He's just tweaking the guitar world for attention.
That dude changes his rig quite often too. So, you know, what works for him one day is not going to be what works for him the next day a lot of the time too. So I don't know.
Yeah. One minute he'll like his 52 Tele, and next minute he'll like that Albert King Flying V. Oh, nope. Now it's got to be the Gibson Les Paul.
Yeah, because in my opinion, I think that Joe Bonamassa had a point in what he was saying, in that some people might replace their playing for substituting effects where they fall short. But I just think he's not very eloquent in the way he says things, so he can come off.
Well, but some styles of music literally aren't possible without heavy effects. Like, who's to say that's less valid for style of music than someone who can plug straight into an amp? Like, they're both valid. If you don't like it, that's fine.
I think it's because he just a bit blunt, so people miss the point in what he's trying to say.
Some people are just blunt. That's the way
it sounds like there was no context either, like of what particular type of music needs or doesn't need pedals. I mean, if he's talking about blues, yeah, you can get away with not using any, but you're talking, like you said, David, if you're talking about sort of like ambient sort of, you know, where you'll need a lot of those delay effects and just some weird different styles of music.
Like some of the stuff that Brent does, like that, you can't just do it with like one pedal or one or two pedals.
Could you imagine playing? Could you imagine U2 without effects?
Yeah, there you go. Someone just said Thunderbird said The Edge. That's a great example.
Yeah.
U2 without effects. It just
but
doesn't
I've
make
also
sense.
heard The Edge on acoustic guitar. He knows what he's doing. You know.
He knows what he's doing. Yeah,
I think the point was, and I haven't read the whole article, so it's always silly to comment on something without the full context on it, as you said. But the type of people that I think what he was probably alluding to is the type of people that just plug in an effect and use that to mask the fact that they're not doing much or that they can't do much with it. And anyone,
so I think
you'll as icing on the cake or as a color to something that you've actually got a bit of playing behind it. It doesn't matter if you've got the pedal or not.
I think that he was just a bit bold in his statement. I think if he put it a different way, people would have gotten the point, but it was the way he said it.
I think it's kind of a bogus point, though. There's always somebody who's playing more purely than you, right? No matter, and if you're taking an electric guitar straight into an amp, then a classical player is going to say, well, you know, you've got an amp, so you're full of crap. And if, you know, the classical player will get the cello player saying, well, you're playing some lame thing with frets, so you're not pure. So it's a silly argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we just got to ask.
Luther.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Joe Bonamassa went to his shop, and he just did not have respect for boundaries. So I think he doesn't understand. He might have a social issue. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably just a rich dude who has an opinion, public opinion.
My Luthier doesn't have it, so he has a sign that says "Please knock." He ignored that. He walked in, went behind the counters without asking. He just walked around like he owned the place. So I think it might just be an issue of communication rather than making a good case in point.
Sometimes people, too, when they get to that certain point of celebrity, they start thinking that rules don't apply.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Yeah, well said. So we just last question here. Sorry, go ahead, John.
I was just going to say we could all just boil it down to somebody said something and everybody had a whinge.
Yeah.
That's exactly. I didn't even read it, to be honest. I wasn't interested. I just thought, oh, here we go. I'm not even going to. Wasn't a topic.
Well, sorry for forcing it into your video.
No, that's all right. Totally cool, man. Totally cool. I heard about it. I just went. I don't like Joe Bonamassa enough to really care. So anyway. Yeah, so we got to ask, what's our thought on digital effects pedals? I'll go first. I think they're good if you're on a budget or if you're playing in cover band music. Sometimes you can, in a cover band, you can kind of get a lot of different sounds without having to buy lots of different, more expensive effects on the most part. But if you're going to be buying it just for one or two effects, buy the analog pedals. Much less fiddling around. If anyone else wants to contribute, go for it.
Well, I think a good example of digital effects is David Gilmour uses a lot of digital effects. And I can't fault David Gilmour's playing.
Oh, no, it works for certain types of music, absolutely.
And I think if no one told you that he used digital effects, you wouldn't know that he used digital effects.
Joe Bonamassa would, though. He'd know about it.
Oh, I think once you told me, he would be.
Everybody's down on poor Joe now.
Yeah. No, he's a good player, Joe. But yeah, I don't know.
I think he's a great player. I think he's fantastic. I
I
don't care about personality. It's all about.
I have the Keeley Super Mod workstation, which has several digital effects on it, and it's pretty nice. I bought it because I didn't have like a flanger and a Leslie pedal, and I was like, well, this will get me a Univibe and a Leslie and a flanger and a phaser, all at once, and then I can slowly get higher quality individual pedals for those things. So
my wife was disturbed to find I came home from Guitar Center one day with a phaser, and I told her I promise I keep it on stun.
We're going back to
That was
Star
a good
Wars.
one.
That's Star Trek. Don't
that's
get
Star
them
Trek.
confused. The nerds go nuts.
All right, gentlemen.
Oh, yeah,
It
we got-
is now 12 o'clock. So it's actually after 12. So we're going overtime. I'll schedule
Oh, yeah,
one of these up.
daylight savings, right? In summer, because that makes sense.
Yeah. So
Well, you can hang out for an hour.
yeah. Anyway. All right, guys. Well,
Does the
thanks
call end
for.
when Shane leaves, or?
Hey.
I said, does the call end when Shane leaves, or does the call keep going?
I hit end call. That's it. It's game over.
He's got the
No, that happened to me once. I got stuck with some other
He's
guy
the
that kept
boss.
asking me all these weird questions.
As they say in Germany, ich bin der Boss.
Russia in the 90s.
So yeah, thanks everyone for joining in on the chat. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to you guys as well for being on the actual live stream. It's always good having some people here. Great to finally talk to David for the first time live. Oh, yeah, in person like this. So yeah, thanks for all your questions. If I missed anything, feel free to post them once the live stream caches shortly and uploads itself. And if you want to be on the next live stream with webcam and all that, just email me to intheblues@outlook.com and I'll add you to the list. And everyone that just emailed me today will be added to that list as well. So it'll be updated and ready to go for next time. Kerry, got to get you back on the next stream at some point. He just posted. So thanks to everyone. And yeah, unless anyone else has anything to add, it is now beach o'clock and lunch o'clock.
All
Have
right,
fun,
guys.
Shane.
All right, guys. Take care.
Take care. We'll
soon.
see you all next time.
Yeah.
See you, everyone.
We'll
Yeah.
do.
See y'all later.
Bye-bye.
All right, see you.